I tested AI personalization by sending 50,000 personalized emails and the results were incredible. We got 4.7 times more positive replies, more book calls, and more revenue for our company. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do the same. This is some of our old campaigns where we just send a generic email template that used the first name and company name as the only personalization. And as you can see, we sent 5,600 emails with 14 replies and only 7 positive replies, which essentially mean we got 0.5% reply rate and 0.25% positive reply rate. If you haven't run any cold email campaigns yet, maybe you don't know, but these results are terrible. 0.5% reply rate means that you have no idea what you're doing. Now, let me show you one of our active campaigns at the moment. 2,300 sent emails, 1,800 leads contacted, 56 replies, and 38 positive replies, which is 2.1% positive reply rate. Remember, in the previous case, we had 0.25, which means almost 10 times better. Now, keep in mind, this is the volume that we send in a day. So, in this case, it's 2,300 emails, which ultimately means we're getting 38 interested leads in a single day. Now, we're planning to scale this even further, but these results are great. 38 leads in a single day. Now, there are two main ways that people try to scale their cold email campaigns. The first one is they're sending emails manually, meaning they try to personalize it by opening up every lead's website, trying to find relevant information and so on, which is great. It still works. It will always work. But the results are very slow and the process is very slow because you can only personalize like 40 or 50 emails per day. So what people usually try to do here is they just hire some random VAs, usually from overseas, who are cheap but can also handle like 40 or 50 prospects per day. Meaning if you want to send 2,000 emails per day, you need an army of VAs personalizing the emails for you, and the quality is usually over time getting worse and worse, so that's not ideal. Plus all the headaches of managing the team and everything, just to keep the personalization. So to sum it up, the quality is great, but when you try to scale, it actually gets worse over time. So the other approach is to try to automate everything, which is what most people do nowadays. Now, in this case, quantity is great because you can sign up to any cold email sending platform, buy a bunch of domains and accounts, and send thousands and thousands of emails per day. The problem is when you start sending thousands and thousands of emails every day, most often people forget about personalization. They just start blasting generic emails, and the results are usually terrible, which we could see from one of my examples. So quality is terrible here. Now, if hiring an army of VAs and scaling manual approach doesn't work, and sending automated emails also doesn't work, then is there a solution that actually solves all of these challenges? Turns out there's a solution. AI allowed us to send thousands and thousands of emails at scale while keeping every single email personalized. And in a second, I'm going to show you how you can do the same. So the solution is AI personalization at scale, which is exactly what we do in all our campaigns and what 300 and more agency owners that we help also do. Now, when people figure out they can do personalization, one of the most common mistakes is they try to personalize around personal leads, personal information, which never works. Some examples are school and college. If you open up your LinkedIn and scroll through the feed, you'll see a bunch of salespeople giving advice that you should say something like, hey, I saw you went to that college, congrats, or something like that. It just doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. The other thing is location. Now, in some cases, location actually works, but it has to be something related to the offer itself. But if you just mention the location for the sake of personalization, it doesn't really make any sense. One other thing is random awards. So mentioning some courses or something like that that they listed on LinkedIn will not give you any results. So yeah, these are just some examples. you see the point. If you're trying to personalize about who the lead is or the information that you can find about them online, it doesn't really matter because you're trying to pitch your service, and it has nothing to do with them. It has a lot to do with their company, which is exactly what great personalization is. It should be related to the lead's company or their work and their job at that company. Some great examples are target audience, industry, case studies as well. You can give them a compliment, but it has to be something about their job or something like that. Job/work compliment. What else do we have? Company mission, vision, or goals, or something like that. You see the difference. In this case, personal information, work-related information. And now I'll show you why this actually works better. So let's take a look at the entire email, or let's say first 2 lines. If you do something like, let's say you're running paid ads for e-commerce brands or something like that. If we do something like, hey name, so you went to college, we help brands run ads. Does this email make sense? You're mentioning something about their college, and they expect you to continue the email in the same manner. But what you do instead is you completely forget what you just mentioned and just pitch your service. It doesn't make any sense. And they know, okay, they just mentioned this to grab my attention, and yeah, you'll just annoy people if you do this. What you need to do instead is personalize using these variables. I'll give you an example. Let's use the same example. So if we say, hey name, so company targets and their target audience, we help brands run ads. The exact same example. So in this case, hey name, so that your company name, targets, and then their specific target audience. We help brands run ads. It's a logical intro. The intro sentence, the icebreaker, actually makes sense in the context of the entire email. It's not just the random information that you're putting there to grab their attention. It actually makes sense, and they can continue reading the email in the same manner, and the entire message will make sense step by step. So, hey name, so company targets their target audience, we help brands run ads, and so on. It just makes sense. So, in this case, even though you used personalization in the first line in both examples, in the second one, it doesn't sound cheap. It seems genuine, like you've actually done the research, see who they work with and so on. And because of that, you're reaching out to them to offer your service. So just keep that in mind. If you want to use personalization in your emails, it should be related to what you have to offer and to what they do. One more mistake that many people make is they figure out AI can do this type of stuff, and they ask AI to write the entire email for them. So turns out AI is taught by thousands and thousands of articles that it can find online, and 99% of the advice when it comes to cold email that's available online is actually really terrible. It doesn't work, and it's outdated. So what we want to do is we don't want to let AI write the entire email. We want to use it to fill in the blanks, exactly like I did in the example here. So instead of letting AI write the entire sequence and saying, hey, asking AI to personalize the entire first sentence, for example, we write a template and we just use variables like company name and target audience. This way we can test different structures, different formats of email, and just use AI for that extra touch of personalization to make the email seem like we've actually done the research. Again, these are some examples of what good personalization looks like. There are other things that you can do. For example, if you're automating processes for other companies, you can ask AI to do the research and find maybe pain points of COO within that company. Specific processes. operations, and so on. And then inside of your email, you can say something like, hey, I can help you automate processes. Let's say it's a recruiting company and they're sourcing candidates, for example. Let's say first leads. So we have a lead, which is a recruiting agency, and their process is sourcing candidates. Now, I'm sending a cold email to that company and I do automation, and you do automation and you're sending email to that company. Your email offers automating processes, and my email offers automating candidate sourcing. Which one do you think would work better? This one or this one? It's an obvious choice, like this one is way, way better. So we can use AI for custom fields as well, for custom information pieces and personalization variables. So yeah, again, don't let AI write the entire sequence. Like in this case, it would maybe come up with a random sentence that doesn't really make sense and that doesn't really offer your service to them. So you should just write the word automating yourself and then use AI to fill in the blank. In this case, processes. Okay, so now that we understand this works and why this works, we need to understand how we can make this work. I can give you an example of how I personally did it. So at first, when I wanted to automate my personalization process within my cold email campaigns, the first thing I did is I set it up using make.com, and how it worked is essentially I had a CSV file, which is a list of leads, a Google Sheet document or something like that. Then I used their website scraper to open up every lead's website. Then I ask AI to extract some information from the website, and then I add the information back to the CSV file. And I use that in any cold email platform just to send the emails and use AI variables in the email body itself. Now, this worked fine, but make.com had some limitations. Mostly it was around pricing and scaling. So it's easy to do this in Make if you have like 50 leads, 100, 500 leads. But if you want to send 1,000 emails per day, it becomes unbearable. Like it's very slow, it's very expensive. So yeah, I needed to find another solution, which was N8N in my case. So it's also an automation platform like Make.com, but it has a bit more technical capabilities. So what I did is I pretty much copied the entire process here, but again, it worked fine, but at some point it got stuck. There were a lot of limitations. For example, you can only handle leads one by one. So that didn't really make sense because I was sending 2,000 emails per day. So it took me a lot of time, a lot of money to do this in N8N. Which is how I came across Clay. If you're not familiar with Clay, Clay lets you integrate with many different platforms, websites, and so on, and manipulate and transform the data in any way that suits you. So Clay could do the entire process for me, but again, it was very, very expensive, and it took a lot of time. Like I believe I spent the first 4 or 5 weeks, almost full day, learning how to use Clay. So it's a very technical platform. It's very difficult to learn, which, by the way, I'm a technical person, and I still couldn't figure out how to make everything work in the first try. So yeah, it definitely works, but it's very expensive. It can, for descending volume, you could be spending up to $2,000 or $3,000 per month just for personalization, which in my case, didn't really make sense. So what I decided to do is actually build a custom software that does this specific process and build it in a way that's scalable, meaning it can process thousands and thousands of leads in minutes. Currently, I believe we can personalize around 3,000 or 4,000 leads every minute. So if I have a list of 10,000 leads, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to personalize the entire list. The platform that I've built is called Prospi. It also has a lot of other functionalities like sending emails, AI inbox manager, building lead lists, and so on. But the core of the platform is actually AI personalization. and what you can do with your lead list. Let me show you how we do it. Again, I'm not trying to sell you here anything. This is just how I personally do it, but these options are still fine. I'm just saying what challenges I came across when I started using them. The first thing that we can do with our lead list after the lead list is built is actually use some of the pre-saved, like templated prompts that we have that we know for sure work great. For example, normalize company name. You know how in the lead list you can get something like Google LLC. What this prompt does is it removes LLC, because if you mentioned that in the email, it looks weird. It doesn't look human. The second one is for job title as well. Then after that, we have finding target audience, which is what I mentioned earlier. We can also find their service name, their product name, sub-industry, company type, company mission, and so on. So these are the most popular prompts and that we saw the best results with. Another option is to also do custom AI research, which is more for advanced senders. Like once you get comfortable with basic prompts and basic personalization, I encourage everyone to try doing custom AI research. In this, let me show you one example. So for example, we ask AI to open up company's website and to write a PS statement, which we add at the end of the email. People usually do personalization in the intro sentence and the PS line. Write a PS statement for this company. It should start with PS, and it should be a one-sentence compliment for the work this company does. Again, it's a compliment, but it's related to the work this company does. It's not on a personal side of things. And this is what the results look like. So this is our lead list. We also have like first name, last name, website, and so on. But you can see service name, sub-industry, company, this is the company mission, and so on. As you can see, it's different for every company, but let's say service name. When we use that in the email, I saw you do service name. Each lead will receive a personalized emails based on the service they provide. That's essentially how it works. You can also do this to do further filtering of the leads. Let's say you only want to work with B2C companies, for example, and there's no lead finders, lead databases online that allow you to select that filter. So you can build the entire list and then ask AI to decide if the company is B2B or B2C. Then you just filter the leads, B2C, and you delete the rest of the list. So that's how I personally do it, and how 300 other companies that I'm helping with do it too. But again, as I said, you can do it using Make, you can do it in Na10, or you can try using Clay. Now, this strategy seems great, it's awesome, but like anything else, there are risks that come with it. In this case, AI can become too creative if you don't give it specific instructions. That's why I mentioned earlier that you should not let AI write the entire sequence for you, because the email will sound generic. So what we want to do is we want to give it specific instructions, task by task. Instead of saying, hey, perform the entire market research for this company, we should say something like, hey, can you grab a name of one client of this company and write it with capital letters? That's simple. It should be specific, clear, simple. Imagine this like you're teaching a child what needs to happen. Like, you can't really assume that AI is great at this job, so the more specific you are, the higher the chances of the personalization and the variable actually being accurate. Again, with this, we have around 99.5% accuracy, which is still great. It's been working for quite some time. I've been using this approach for almost 2 years now. It's still working like a charm, and it's going to continue working. But will it work in 5 years, 10 years? The answer is, I don't know. But what I do know is that we're getting great results, and other companies are achieving amazing results with this strategy, and it's definitely going to continue working for quite some time. The great thing is it's still not too late to jump on this train and use this strategy to scale your cold email campaigns as well. Similar to paid ads, back in the day, you could throw in $100 into Facebook ads and generate $5,000, $10,000. And nowadays, like if you break even, you should be happy. So it's similar with this. Right now, we're entering the peak. So we're right about here at the moment. It's going to work better and better and better, and at some point it's going to slow down, which is normal. That's how every single technology that we've used in the past worked. But what I'm trying to say here, to sum it up, is AI personalization works like a charm. It generates much better results. It's a great option for scaling your cold email campaigns. And you should definitely start doing it before it's too late. So if you want to learn more about cold email and scaling your company using cold email funnels, then make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'll do my best to post at least 3 useful and insightful videos like this every single week.